Welcome to Film Speak. Kind of a special episode. I get to meet filmmaker Victor Bonacore. Hope I did not fuck his name up, because I'll probably hear about it. You guys know me and names. This is a great local filmmaker. He actually is a transport from New York City. Came here because of his passion to make a documentary about the guy behind the Deadbeat at Dawn movies, the first feature film ever filmed in Dayton back in 1987-88. So he is now a Dayton filmmaker. We stole him from New York. I can't wait to sit down, have a great conversation with this guy, learn about what his influences are and what he's up to in Dayton. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
You know, I may have to get old and go for years without mass acceptance, but I know that if I keep doing what I do and do it, that after a while people go, oh, holy shit, look at this guy with this body of uncompromising, nasty fucking stuff, that he had something to say.
Who is Jim Van Dever?
The fuck-ups, the losers, the people who don't get a break. They got no voice. They have no voice, period.
My guest this week is the director behind the cult classic.
Legendary independent filmmaker, Jim Van Dever.
He's one of those people who God just rubbed his chin and said, yeah, that's the guy right there.
There are two Jim Van Devers, and it's like a Jekyll and Hyde, but they both have the same ultimate goal, which is to make movies.
The dark, troubled anti-hero.
Part of a grand tradition in film of lunatics.
In a sense, like a Spike Lee type of guy that was able to, okay, this is the way we live and this is the way we look at things. Van Dever was able to do something like that on a dirty, white, trash, heavy metal scumbag version.
The whole industry seems to be all kind of straight-laced money people and no passion and no grit. And Jim has true grit.
A person is trying to tell the truth in a pit full of vipers who tell lies.
He's an anarchist. He's a madman.
And kind of almost violent director.
Arrogant and cocky, egotistical.
I think he's a genius. He really is a genius.
Jim Van Dever is the last outlaw in the world of cinema.
This is what's happening. My dreams. Here's the next one.
You take umbrage, niggers, and shoot on film now!
Every person who's ever made a film in the 80s or the 90s owes a debt to Jim Van Dever.
He's not good at playing the schmoozy Hollywood game.
He'll say what's on his mind, and that doesn't go over well in Hollywood.
And if he's not working, he goes fucking nuts.
Rename this Jim Van Dever Weekend.
I'm a badass! I will beat your ass!
The best!
There's a lot of anger in the stories and in the performances.
Violent, gritty, tough.
About this punk rock.
The film is yet a perfect example of how one man can become almost a force of nature on a film set.
Some Hell's Angel with a 16mm camera.
When I first saw him, I was like, God, this is a fucking underground movie. This looks like it should be out.
Film is forever, all bets are off. Do something impressive.
Anybody has the guts and the grit to do it and make a comeback and make something of himself, it's Jim Van Dever.
Where the flesh is important, where fucking is important, drug taking is important. These are my films. You call them exploitation, I call them the 70s. I'm gonna follow that dream wherever that dream may lead me. I'm gonna follow that dream wherever it may lead.
Just watch out, kids, because I'm gonna fuck you up, man.
Yeah, like chunky, like snot. YouTube does it. Chunky snot, tangy, snot, they push out.
So Linnea, did you decide to dye your hair?
Yes, I dyed it and then I took cobwebs and I put them in.
Yeah.
And, well, I had them weaved in, which was so expensive. it's like, it's the thing to do now.
Yeah.
And then I took a rat and I had it like, do a nesting process.
Yeah, I can tell that, yeah.
And then it was just perfect.
It works for you.
It
does.
It's like a perfect look.
Are you going to keep this look, or?
I think so. I'm going to see how the washing goes.
Yeah.
It might turn into dreads.
Yeah. And now, you were in The Green Monster, am I right?
I am Edward X. Young. I played Gerald in The Green Monster.
Yes. Yes.
I play a cannibal, serial killing, rapist, voodoo practitioner, necrophile who runs a convenience store and a diner. And it's a comedy.
And you're also in the new hypochondriac portion of Psycho Street.
I'm also in the hypochondriac portion of Psycho Street. And in The Green Monster, I also do the special effects.
Oh, that's cool.
Act with the lovely Colleen Cohan. She's my wife in The Green Monster.
Yay! What a couple!
And in Psycho Street, Hypochondria, she plays the Mexican. The Mexican.
No way.
Yes.
Can you believe it? Very versatile.
And now, do you have Facebook or MySpace? People can add you?
Yes. Look me up, Edward X. Young. Look me up on Facebook and MySpace. If you're a fan of Grindhouse Horror, I'll befriend you.
Hey, cool.
And this is movie number 19 for me.
Oh my
I started acting 4 years ago. Finally got around to doing it in my 40s, and 19 movies. And all I do, with the exception of the one Disney movie, I want to apologize to everybody for it. No, I like the Disney movie. It was The Game Plan. The Rock is a great guy. But I've done everything else has been Grindhouse Horror.
Linnea and Hippie? Hate to break up this interview.
Well, here I am in the backyard on the set they've set up.
Called cut, or if the camera. I don't think the camera's even rolling.
You look more satanic.
Oh, yeah.
Movie was memorable.
Hello.
It's Linnea and she's blonde.
I know. I lost my.
And away we go. Welcome to Film Speak. I'm lucky enough because something I love about this show is, one, I get to have old friends come on, people I've worked with, and then every once in a while I get to meet somebody cool as fuck and have somebody new on the show, and that would be today. I am joined today by Victor Bonacore.
Yep.
Ah!
Got it.
Ching. I mean, I only had him say it to me like 4 times before I started, so I would make sure that I got it. Thank you very much for being on the show,
thank you
brother.
for having me.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
Honor.
Now, so glad that there are so many different kinds of Dayton filmmakers. And you're from the area?
I'm actually from New York.
You're from New York?
Yeah.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Man, that's a big change.
It is a big change.
I
like Dayton though a lot.
I love Dayton a lot, but if I lived near Katz's Deli, I don't think I could move away from Katz's Deli.
A good deli, a very good deli. 24 hours.
24 hours. Well, I tell you what, I almost every day think of that pastrami Reuben.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's ruined. Reuben's is my favorite sandwich, and it's fucking ruined it for me.
You know, I haven't eaten meat in maybe like 6 or 7 years, but I used to get that at Katz, and actually just moving here, Lucky's, that place downtown in Oregon, they do a vegan Reuben.
Oh, wow.
Fucking out of this world, so highly recommend that.
Highly recommend that. My daughter is very curious about that then.
Oh, okay, cool.
A vegan Reuben. I'm going to have to try that.
Yeah, it's
just
good.
for the sake of it.
Yeah, it's good.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Back to film.
Back to film.
So what got you into filmmaking?
I was always made little backyard films as a kid. Like I think like a lot of us did, like little gory horror shorts and stuff. Me, my brother, and my sisters, and but I always had an interest. I loved movies, but I think it was Kubrick that actually got me into wanting to make my own, or got me really obsessed with movies.
Yeah.
His movies were so big and grand that I was like, I can't do that. But it was. Like, you know, of course, The Shining and all those, and that got me obsessed. But a movie called Basket Case, Frank Henenlotter's film.
Yeah.
That was the first one I rented. That I was like, okay, I think I could do something like this. Like,
That's
it's low budget, but great.
Low budget, but great horror. Great 70s horror.
Yeah. I think it's...
Late 70s?
Yeah.
It might have been early 80s.
I think it is early 80s.
Yeah.
I think it's 81. But, you know, it's...
I saw it in my early teenage years.
Yeah. Fantastic. And
I always loved all kinds of film,
Mhm.
but horror was always like a special place for me. Now that I'm older, I still like horror, but
Mhm.
my expectations are got to be better horror.
Right. I mean, we've seen all the greats, and it's kind of hard to top that.
Yeah.
And
Carpenter, Hooper.
Craven.
Yeah,
you
Craven.
know.
Early Craven, especially.
Early Craven. Yeah. The Hills Have Eyes, Last House on the Left, all that stuff. Yeah.
The Incubus, I think, was another.
I don't think I saw the Incubus. That's
Yeah.
Craven?
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was about a Amish community.
Really?
And it's one of those where I don't want to give away too much if you haven't seen it.
Cool,
but
all right.
It has one of the best Craven twists at the end.
All right. I have to just check that out. Does it go by a different title?
It might.
Like Summer of Fear or something like that?
It could.
I could be totally wrong there.
Yeah.
So.
No, they do that with so many, especially, when different people buy the licensing rights and everything.
What's going to sell more? What's going to market better? Yeah.
It had the one guy from Hills Have Eyes in it, though. The funky head.
Michael
He was in
Berryman?
yes.
Huh.
He was in Weird Science.
Yeah. Huh. I don't know that movie. I got to look that up.
Well, it's the advantage of being old. Yeah, you have more time to accumulate useless knowledge on such things.
Right.
So what brought you to doing a documentary on, if I can show this to the camera here? This is Diary of a Deadbeat, the story of Jim Van Bibber.
Van Bebber, yeah.
Van Bebber, who did one of the first feature film that was solely filmed in Dayton, Deadbeat by Dawn, which is kind of a cult classic.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny when you talk to filmmakers across the country and how they know Dayton. You'll start talking about your city, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Deadbeat by Dawn." Fuck, how do you know that movie?
Yeah, it's crazy. It was like, I guess, the first feature film shot here. He was going to Wright State. He was a Wright State film student. He made a bunch of films, like regular 8 and Super 8 films in Greenville, where he was born, grew up. And then when he went to Wright State, I think it was his 3rd year. It's part of the doc, but he ended up taking his student loan money and instead of going to school and bought a bunch of 16mm film and shot Deadbeat at Dawn. And so, yeah, I was here like 6 years ago shooting B-roll for the doc.
Yeah.
Going around, I've never been to Dayton before, just shooting like where he, did a lot of his shots. Now I live here, so it's a little odd. But yeah, Deadbeat at Dawn was one of those movies I saw kind of like Basket Case. I saw later on in life, after I was like really submerged in the genre and like trying to get more into underground stuff. And I saw it and I was like, what? This is fucking insane. Can I curse, by the way? I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. We totally changed the format to the show. It used to be a daytime show.
Oh, okay.
Now we're on night, so fuck it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Cool. I can let the New York come out.
Well, I remember when it was made. It was made about 88, 89.
88.
Yeah,
it
88.
was finished, yeah.
And I remember at the time when it was being made, I was 18 years old. I was more of a theater kid back then.
Right.
I changed from wanting to do theater to film when Pulp Fiction came out.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's what flip-flopped me.
Ah, all right.
But yeah, I remember when it was out, and I was really big into indie film. There was that, and around the same time, Kids came out.
Oh,
All these great, just underground, done themselves style of movies. Slackers came out just a couple years after, which was another one.
Right? Yeah, great movie. Yeah, like super independent, like true independent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, though it had an impact on me, I didn't consider those movies until I did Pulp Fiction. And then a book that I read, Rick Schmidt's How to Make a Feature Film for the Price of a Used Car.
Huh.
Which is, I think Kevin Smith used that to make Clerks.
Oh, okay.
He did the same thing. Kevin Smith was in film school, quit film school, took his student loans and racked up credit cards to make Clerks.
Right on, yeah.
But he did it using Rick Schmidt's How to Make a Feature Film for a Price of a Used Car as his guideline.
Oh, wow. That's
and
awesome.
Really great thing about the Rick Schmidt book is he talks about Deadbeat quite a bit.
Does he really?
As an example of how to do a DIY movie.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that either. I gotta check that out.
He has updated it over the years. I mean, when
Uh-huh.
I had the book in the early 90s, it was about shooting it on 16 millimeter film and how to edit 16 millimeter film. And then it has switched and morphed over the years to include the new digital technology and format.
Right.
So yeah, if you want to learn how to be a filmmaker, do it right and do it low budget, Rick Schmidt is a good guideline.
The Robert Rodriguez did a book too on how he made mariachi for like $7,000.
Yeah,
that was a good one too.
Well, you know, if I could actually have experiments, skin graft done on my back for 3 months to get the money for a budget film, I probably would.
Yeah, right. I thought about throwing myself in front of a cab in New York a few times to get that like
just to get that money.
Grand, yeah.
I currently have a film I'm looking for distribution for.
Okay.
Buried Tales. Rusty was a big part of it.
Okay, yeah.
And I say all the time, man, I will suck dick to get this movie out there. You know, I'm not gay in any way, but if that's what it takes for me to get distribution, then fuck it.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I want my movie out there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what other projects and everything? I mean, I know you're out promoting your work that you did on the documentary.
Yeah, it was a 6-year project. Super proud of it, happy it's out. But, you know, it's good. I can move on now to other things. We just shot a movie in Dayton, mostly in Dayton, called Woodsman, Forest of Pain. We know it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's kind of, Diary was screening in Philadelphia. At this place up there, the Filmmaker. It's kind of like this old mausoleum. They turned into a cool like indie screening house. It's awesome. And it was a long drive back, like 12 hours. And it was me and the distributor of Massacre Video. And we're like, he's telling me about a movie he wrote when he was like 15 called Woodsman, Forest of Pain. It sounds like a movie you'd make when you're 15.
Yeah.
Backyard movie. And we're like, let's just make a backyard movie. Let's do, you know, no budget. Let's use all our friends. Make it like we were kids, but have lots more gore. Like we're going for like that German gore, like that shot on video gore from the 90s, like the violent shit movies and stuff like that. And then have lots of nudity. I mean, we have male nudity, female nudity. And it turned into this thing. We're like, let's shoot it in a weekend. And we started shooting this last October, and we're still
working on it?
Yeah, we basically shot out last weekend, but we're shooting like a head explosion scene, like some insert stuff.
Be careful, because that's one of the reasons why we want to choke Al Harland, who will be here later today. We're doing an episode with him. But he has his movie Uber Zombie Frau, which several of us have been a part of. And every time he says it's wrapped and we're editing, and then he's like, I built a new set. And, you know, we're shooting a new scene and everything. And we just feel like, oh, you're a tease. You're a tease.
Can you just finish the damn movie?
Yeah, can you just finish it? Can you just put out, for Christ's sakes?
Right. And that's what we're doing. We're like, we literally are done with the basic shooting of it. We're trying to find, we shot on high 8 camcorders, like VHS camcorders, and some Super 8 film.
And then transferring it.
Yeah, so it looked, it's full screen. I think it's widescreen still, but some of it's full screen. It's, you know, a standard def gets, and but it looks like a 90s shot on video film.
That is awesome.
So it's been fun, like not having to worry about certain technical things. Like, let's just make I'm in my 30s now, let's make a fun backyard movie.
Well, you made an interesting point earlier that a lot of people I don't think realize in filmmaking is when you said 6 years, you know, of doing this, and it takes that long, especially a lot of times when you're doing documentary.
Yeah, especially, you know, it was all out of my pocket, like, you know what I mean, and I'm shooting it, and you know, it was like there was many times too, and you're following someone to documentary, it kind of writes itself.
Yeah.
So you're following someone around, and you're like, okay, it's done, but it never really felt done. But then a point came when I went down to Florida to film him shooting a new movie.
Yeah.
Which I thought was like, you know, a great final piece, because the whole doc is about him trying to make new movies, trying to get another script out there, and I thought it'd be cool to finally get him working on a new movie, and with alligators, and you know, and I'm in this Florida, and it's crazy. Yeah, so I didn't want to finish it until I felt like it was done. There was no reason for me to rush.
Yeah.
And then I'm editing it at 2, so it just takes forever. But
well, yeah, with a documentary, you're filming so much, and then having to comb through it, and out of 3 hours, pull 5 minutes.
Exactly.
You know, yeah,
Yep.
it's just outrageous.
And you know, the first cut was I think 3.5 hours. I had a couple buddies come over here in Dayton and watch it, and you know they were asleep at the end of it, and I was like, okay, that was good. I think now it's like a little under 2, but.
Have you ever seen What We Do in Shadows?
Oh, no, I heard about it, though. It's a newer horror film?
Well, it's kind of horror. It's done by the guys who are behind Flight of the Conchords.
Oh, okay.
About vampires. It's done like a reality show about
Right.
vampires.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, they shot 176 hours of them improvising.
Whoa.
And then whittled it down to a less than 2-hour
Wow.
movie, which the editing behind that just must have been insane. There must have been so much caffeine and alcohol involved in working on that.
Yeah, other stuff too. Yeah, that sounds great. I gotta check that out. I didn't know there was the guys from Flight of the Conchords. Yeah, these guys are funny.
Well, is there any? Where can people find out more information about you and your projects?
I mean, I'm on Facebook as Victor Bonacore. I'm on Instagram, Video Bonacore. Masker Video is the label that put this out, and I work with them a lot. Yeah, that's basically how you can find me. I'm pretty easy.
Dig it.
And yeah.
And working and making films here in Dayton. Came from New York, which is just beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the birthing of the film community that has been happening over the past 5 years here in the area.
Dayton's so cool, man. Like when I moved here, I was not afraid, but I was like, I'm coming from New York. I used to work for a company there called Media Blasters, a pretty big distribution company.
Yeah.
Moving here.
I sent my movie to them actually. Yeah,
oh, did you? Yeah. They were a lot bigger then. They're very small now, but and there's a lot of good artists here. There's a lot of good talent. I mean, I love the independent wrestling scene, the roller derby scene. There's a lot of cool stuff here. A lot of good bands I've become friends with. I'm going to be doing a video for this band called Deuterus.
Oh yeah.
Out of Dayton.
I've heard of them, yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome. We're doing a wrestling themed video.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, I love it. I think it's a cool place, and people are willing to help you shoot. You can go into a place and be like, "Can we shoot a scene here? $25." And they're
Witch Doctor Films is going to be here later. They have a lucha series.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a lucha wrestler who's trying to, like a businessman, see him in a suit, but he's still got the mask on and everything.
No shit.
It's just
cool.
Yeah.
They film in Dayton?
They're more Cincinnati based.
Okay, cool. That's still close. Yeah.
I work with them quite a bit.
Oh, awesome.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Hey, thank you.
We're going to take a little break, and
Right
then we're going to really dig into Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket.
Let's do it.
We'll be back in just a minute. All right, this is one of those times when I jump up on a soapbox, take maybe a topical type thing, and tell you just how big of an asshole I am because of what I think about it. This is one of those times. What I want to talk about is bullying. Now, there has been, a lot of debate going back and forth. I'm seeing all these commercials, about bullying and stopping bullying. And you got the kid, people don't understand me. I go to school and I hate it because I'm always being bullied and everything. And it is an awful thing. But I think a lot of people's approaches to it is like taking a Band-Aid and trying to put it on a sucking chest wound because they're missing the fucking point. Humans, we are garnished by two things. We are nature and nurture both. Now, on the nurture part of it, yeah, with bullying, there might be a problem of, my daddy didn't fucking hug me. My mom didn't love me enough, I never felt accepted myself, so I take it out on other kids, bullying. And there might be some truth to that. There's also, though, because what I got to say, I was bullied. I was a sickly small kid. I went to 15 different fucking public schools. And everywhere I went to, the only thing that was the same was how shitty other kids treated me, And I tell you what, I learned that that was just a part of life. Being beat up, face shoved in shit, having kids pee on me. I mean, all this stuff was just a part of growing up that I had to deal with. And I had problems dealing with it until when I was 12 years old that I read the book Lord of the Flies. Lord of the Flies changed my perspective on how I looked, on how I was treated growing up. And that changed even further as I grew up. Look at the animal world, okay? Wolves, lions, anybody that lives in a pack or pride type environment, any kind of animal, you have bullying. It's because they are taking the smaller, weaker animals and basically abusing them to either kill them or toughen them up. And we think, us being humans, that we don't have to apply to the same rules that fucking animals do, but we do. Okay? We are guided by the same principles over the same nature, laws of nature. And I think that's where the roots of bullying comes from. And until that you can be able to accept that, you'll never properly deal with it. You know? There is a reason for it in nature, and it's the same reason that's happening now. Because the strong will always gather around to pick on the weak in order to toughen them up or die. And man, that's just nature. And I'm not saying that bullying is right, because it's not. You know, we have to find a way to better communicate, better deal with things. And I think the true answer to the bullying is that we should be taking our kids and giving them the armor of self-love and self-confidence. Okay, because if you're armored with self-love and self-confidence, then the slings and arrows of sons of bitches who are just trying to attack you because of their own inadequacies won't have an effect on you. Just some food for thought. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying I'm probably right. Have a great day. All right, next. Welcome back. We're here talking with Victor. About to get started on talking about Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, which is, this is a huge movie for me.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
Had a giant effect. Well, one of the biggest reasons was I was in the infantry.
Oh, okay.
I was Army infantry.
Wow.
And Full Metal Jacket was probably the second most quoted movie the whole time I was in the Army.
Really?
The first being Aliens. James Cameron's Aliens.
Yeah.
But second was Full Metal Jacket. I was Private Joker. That was my nickname the whole time I was in the Army.
Wow.
Because in basic training, I had the catch me, fuck me glasses and the shaved head.
Uh-huh.
And I was always running around. I had this notebook and a pen. And I was always writing poems or story ideas, journal entries, whatever. You know, I was always writing. And so they started calling me Private Joker because of that. And I even did I had the peace symbol with Born to Kill written around it on my helmet and everything. And I even had a captain walk up to me one time, and he's like, "What the fuck's that on your helmet?" Right? And I went into the whole thing of saying, "Oh, I thought it kind of represented the dichotomy of man," and he cut me off. He goes, "I thought you were just fucking imitating Full Metal Jacket."
Oh, that's great.
But yeah,
Did he let you keep it?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, he did, but I had a number of people tell me I had to take it off. And all I would do was take my helmet cover and rotate it around until they left, and then I just rotate it back.
Badass.
I have a problem with authority.
Hey, that's cool though. You kept it.
But yeah, just a genius film. I can't tell you the number of times, because I was a 60 gunner when I was in the Army, so the number of times I'd have like somebody say to me, "How can you shoot innocent women and children?" And and I'd be, "It's easy. You just use a little less lead on them." But yeah, just a huge impact. I mean, the movie, it was one of the first movies that was digitally edited.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Digital computer editing was a new thing in '86, and it was one of the first movies that was computer edited over splicing.
Whoa, I did not know that. That's awesome.
Kind of makes it a little groundbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, Kubrick does that a lot,
Yeah.
The Shining, wasn't it the first time to use that, the monkey cam thing?
Yeah.
It was like invented for that, the cinematography,
Well, he had Barry Lyndon.
Uh-huh.
He had a special lens. NASA made him a special lens to use for the shooting of that, so that he shot the whole thing with natural light.
Isn't it odd that NASA made that?
Yeah.
'Cause Kubrick shot the moon landing.
Because Kubrick shot would not surprise. I mean, yeah, because he is Kubrick. I mean, if anybody's going to do it, it would have had to have been Kubrick.
It makes sense, yeah. But sorry,
you know what? I never thought of that. I mean, I knew that NASA.
That's one of those conspiracies.
Yeah, the conspiracy theory things. I mean, I love. Did you see the documentary on him?
Room 237.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was. I mean, I don't buy it all, but it was still interesting to to watch.
The Native American stuff I get. I think that has some background in there. I think Kubrick, but some of the other shit is just It's interesting to listen to those.
It's
people.
it's interesting to listen to people come up with shit out of their ass like that.
Yeah.
But Full Metal Jacket, of course, that brought everybody attention to R. Lee Ermey.
Oh yeah. What a performance! Yeah.
Do you know how he got the job?
No. Well, he was a real drill sergeant, right?
Well, back in the day, he was a real drill sergeant.
Right.
He was on the set of Full Metal Jacket as a consultant.
Oh.
To tell them, to keep everything as true to form.
Right.
And he basically walked up to Kubrick and told him, the guys you got casted as drill sergeants are crap. Make me your drill sergeant. And Kubrick's like, no, that's okay. And supposedly, R. Lee Ermey snapped at Kubrick, told him, stand at the fucking attention when you talk to me, get your goddamn dick out of your hand, and just went off on him. And Kubrick jumped up as reflex and snapped to attention and then realized.
You're hired.
Exactly. That's exactly how it went
great.
down. And Kubrick, who was always such a stickler for people being on dialogue, no improv, let R. Lee Ermey improv almost all his lines.
Whoa.
To the point that, I don't if you remember the scene when he's talking to Cowboy, and he says, what does he say? Are you from Texas? Only steers and queers come from Texas. I don't see the horns on you, boy. I bet you're the kind of asshole who would fuck a guy in the ass and not even have the goddamn courtesy to give him a reach around, right?
Yeah.
And Kubrick called cut and called Emery over and stuff. And asked him, he's like, what's a reach around? And after he explained it to him, Kubrick's like, yeah, keep that in.
Wow. That's fantastic, seriously.
Yeah.
Rather than get offended by this guy, let me throw him in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it. He is so good in that movie, man.
He is incredible. It couldn't have been the same movie without.
And that's the thing about Full Metal Jacket. I was talking to my friend recently about, my cousin was down here, and we were talking about war films, the most realistic, and Full Metal Jacket to me is the number one. It's like that and Deer Hunter to me. But the thing about Deer Hunter, it's like, the first 45 minutes is a wedding and everything's beautiful and nice, and then it just cuts and it's just, you're in it, you know? Full Metal Jacket, it's like, it's shit, and then it just gets shittier. It's like, the first half is like, if you could survive this, it's boot camp, and then it just gets, then you're just thrown into Vietnam, and it's insane.
For war movies, Full Metal Jacket is definitely the most realistic to boot camp.
That's what my dad said. My dad was a Marine.
Yeah,
he said that too.
I was Army infantry, but still,
right.
That was the only time I've ever seen it. As much as I would have liked it, would have been like Stripes.
Right.
It was more Full Metal Jacket.
Right. Bill Murray running around. Yeah, right. That's what I've heard though.
I did get in trouble one time. They when I was in the infantry, little Stripes tangent. Sorry. We were out in the field and the senator was supposed to come out, right? So we'd been out in the field for a month. They truck us back just so we can shower, put on clean uniforms, and take us back to meet the senator. And my feeling was like, fucking senator's going to come and meet you in the jungle. You should look like you've been in the goddamn jungle.
Right.
Right? I don't care about the way I smell, So I was kind of raw about that. And so they have us all lined up, and the senator's coming down. Hey, how are you? What have you guys been doing out here? Shaking everybody's hand. And he comes to me, and he goes, so what have you guys been doing out here? And I said, Army training, sir. What kind of Army training? No, I said training, sir, right? I said, we've been doing training, sir. And he goes, what kind of training? And I stopped my foot 2 times and went, Army training, sir! I did so many frickin' push-ups because of that.
I'm sure.
But it was worth it.
Oh, yeah. It's a great story. Telling how many years later. Yeah.
Oh, God, no. I have a mental problem. I've always had it where I don't have a filter that goes from my brain to my mouth. Whatever I think just immediately comes out.
You learn to deal with the consequences,
You have to.
Yeah.
If you can't take a bite in the ass or a beat down, you might as well just give up.
Yeah. It's true.
But yeah, and it's just Full Metal Jacket was just a huge impact on my time in the Army.
Yeah.
What's an interesting thing is it came out the same year as Platoon.
Yeah, it did.
And Platoon overshowed.
Wins the Oscars.
It's
definitely more Hollywood. I mean, I think never been to war, but I think it does come off. It's got a lot more Hollywood, bigger Hollywood stars. And
the coolest thing about Platoon for me, great stars. Johnny Depp, early movie for him.
William Dafoe.
William Dafoe.
Tom Berenger.
What a performance.
Yeah.
that definitely marked William Dafoe as one of the greatest actors of all time.
Yeah.
Interesting little tidbit. My Army unit, I was in 3rd Platoon Alpha Company, 1st to the 14th Infantry. The platoon that was platoon was 3rd Platoon Bravo Company, 1st to the 14th Infantry.
Whoa.
Which was kind of neat.
Wow. So it was, I don't know what any of that means, but
well, yeah, it means
it's like a very
the
close
same group. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was one building down from me was the Bravo Company.
Wow.
So.
And were those based on real guys?
Well, I know Oliver Stone was in Vietnam. And Platoon is based off his experience in Vietnam.
Okay.
So
I'm sure there's
some realism in.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the best fiction stories are touched with added realism.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Those little stories that happen to you that you pepper in to give it the breath of life.
Right. And make it cinematic.
Yeah.
You know, like you're gonna fluff it up a little bit sometimes, but
some weird things about Full Metal Jacket that I had heard. Matthew Modine wasn't the original consideration for the part.
Yeah, who was? I've heard this too.
Well, I know one of the people, I can't remember the guy who was originally up for the part that dropped out, but Matthew Modine didn't know about Full Metal Jacket, and Val Kilmer had sent in an audition tape and thought that Matthew Modine was stealing the role from him and tried to fight him in a coffee house in Los Angeles.
What?
And that was how Matthew Modine found out about Full Metal Jacket, and he went home that day and taped himself a audition and sent it to Kubrick.
Wow. That's interesting. It's cool because Matthew Modine, I mean, that's got to be the biggest thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
You know, he's not a bad actor at all. He's a good
solid actor.
Yeah, he just never, you know, hit that.
He had a string of movies in the 80s. I mean, there was Married to the Mob.
Right.
Which, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the most part, he's a great ensemble actor
Mm-hmm.
because he's a solid actor. If you put him with a group of 6 actors, you know he's going to probably work well with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Not outshine, not undergive, you know.
Right, it's a good point. Fit in well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I would rather have an actor who's more supportive of the other actors around him and great fuel for them than to be a great shining star outside themselves.
And I think a good war film has a good ensemble. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a good thing about Platoon. It's a good thing about
Full Metal Jacket.
It's, you know, there are...
I'm a big Adam Baldwin. I'm a big Adam Baldwin fan.
Oh yeah.
The Baldwin who's not really a Baldwin.
Right.
You know his role. What was his character's name? Mother? No.
Oh, I don't remember.
Anyways, his character was originally supposed to be played by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Really?
And Arnold Schwarzenegger dropped out of that because he didn't want to be a co-starring role in a Kubrick film. He wanted the lead in Running Man.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, to give up Full Metal Jacket to do Running Man, what kind of fucked up fucking shit is that?
Kind of makes sense for Schwarzenegger. I don't know.
I suppose.
What would that be? Schwarzenegger?
Well, could you imagine the different career, you know, he could have had from doing Full Metal Jacket?
Seriously. I'm trying to picture Kubrick working with Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Though, you know, it's like, you ever heard of that movie? It's called One-Eyed Jacks.
Oh, yeah, Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando.
From the
And
60s.
Kubrick directed like half of that, or
Yeah.
like the first quarter of it, and couldn't do a Brando. And then left, and Brando ended up directing the rest of it.
That doesn't surprise me because of what I heard about Spartacus.
Oh, okay.
Because Kirk Douglas started off with a different director, fired him and hired Kubrick. And then Kubrick and Douglas had such a hard time, it ended their friendship.
Wow. So was Kirk Douglas, did he also produce that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they had worked with each other on The Lions in Winter, 1954, 55.
Who did
Kubrick and Douglas.
Oh. And then
they were friends from that.
Paths of Glory too, right?
Oh, that's the one I was trying to think of. Paths of Glory.
Like, I don't know what
that's
that,
it. It was. You're right. You're right.
Which is one of the best.
I got schooled.
One of the best anti-war films of all time,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
Paths of Glory.
But yeah, they became friends on that, and then Spartacus ended their friendship.
Wow.
Which is just crazy.
Yeah. That
So
is crazy.
I guess we should probably be winding down.
Okay.
It's about that time.
Should we do like the Mickey Mouse song?
M-I-C-K-E-Y-F-I-L-M-S-P-E-A-K. Watch my fucking show. But I guess to take away from this, watch Kubrick films.
Yeah, the best ever.
Yeah, he's definitely a director. Almost every movie he came out with, it came out, and the critics would say, Kubrick is over. And then 2 years later, they'd be like, no, we're sucking his dick. Kubrick's genius.
Right. It takes a few years for a critic, like, I
For
always
it
say,
to
like,
sink
fuck
in.
the critics anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think Kubrick really did every genre film to perfection.
Well, they said that about Dr. Strangelove when it came out, that it was a failure and it's genius. They said it about Clockwork Orange.
The Shining was bashed, you know.
Yeah. Well, The Shining was bashed because it's not Stephen King's Shining.
Right.
It's Kubrick's
Right,
Shining.
exactly. Yeah. And I mean, Eyes Wide Shut too. I mean, I think at that point he had died, so they were in that. I think Eyes Wide Shut is genius, but I think they were in that whole, you know, worship the dead thing.
Yeah.
You know, and they celebrated him at the Oscars that year and such. But
I still love Eyes Wide Shut.
I think it's great.
But yeah, if you haven't seen it, check out Full Metal Jacket. It's definitely a must-see. If you're a filmmaker especially, you have to watch Kubrick if you're a filmmaker. It's required. If you don't, I don't have any respect for you. So watch Full Metal Jacket, watch Kubrick's other films, and watch more Film Speak. Dude, thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I hope you had
man.
a
That
good
was
time.
a blast. Yeah.
Dig it.
Thanks.
And fuck off. We'll see you guys later. What a great show. What a hell of a guy. I love meeting passionate filmmakers. And this guy, definite passionate filmmaker. I can't wait to see his documentary on, I think it's called The Diary of Deadbeat. Diary of a Deadbeat is the name of his documentary on the Jim, who was the director and creator of Deadbeat by Dawn. Yeah, I'm really bad at names, guys. I'm sorry. I'm working on it. I think there's going to be some advancements in brain chips that are coming through specifically so that I won't fucking forget people's names. Anyways, thank you, Victor, for coming on the show, sharing your passion, and talking about Full Metal Jacket and a lot of Kubrick films. We talked about the inspiration that Kubrick and the effect that he has had on filmmaking. So thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Hey, if you know your Bugs Bunny cartoons, you know in the year 2010, smell-o-vision replaced television.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
All right, are we ready for the next one?
Run.
Thank you. You are the best.